Good morning, students. We'll be studying about cell. As you know that all living beings are made up of cell, and cell is the fundamental unit of life. It was Robert Hooke who in 1665 observed a thin slice of a cork. Now cork is obtained from the bark of a tree, and he saw certain honeycomb-like structures or small compartments whom he called as cells. Now even we can do an activity to see the structure of cells. For that we need to take that thin transparent peel of onion and we put it in a slide and we stain it with a saffron solution. When this is observed under a microscope, something like this is observed, which are the rectangular boxes like of things. It was Robert Hooke who coined these as cells. So cells are of different shape and sizes in the various living beings. These are the levels of the organism. That is, the smallest unit of life is cell. A group of similar cells together form a tissue. 2 or 3 types of tissues form an organ. Some organs form an organ system, like we have the digestive system, the respiratory system, and so on. And many organ systems constitute an organism. Now, different cells of the body have different shapes because they have to perform different functions. As you can see that these are the various type of cells in your body. This is a nerve cell, this is a blood cell, this is a muscle cell. So they all are of different shapes. Nerve cell is long and branched because it has to carry the messages over the long distances. Whereas the blood cells are small because they have to be present in the small blood vessels. This is a fat cell and this is a muscle cell. So that is why we say that the cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of life. Now, organisms may be unicellular or they may be multicellular. For example, amoeba is a unicellular organism and that one single cell only performs all the functions. Whereas multicellular organisms like plants, animals, human beings, they have division of labor in which there are various cells to perform various functions. In a single cell also there is division of labor. For example, in amoeba, there are various small organelles which are performing that function. Now, let's talk something about the structure of the cell. The outermost covering of the cell is called as plasma membrane. And this is selectively permeable because it allows entry and exit of only certain substances in and out of the cell. This is present outside all the cells, that is plant cell as well as the animal cell. Whereas in plant cell, there is an additional covering outside which is called as cell wall. Now it is through the plasma membrane that the gaseous exchange occurs, that is the carbon dioxide and oxygen. They move across the cell membrane by the process which is called as diffusion. Now what is diffusion? Diffusion is the spontaneous movement of substances in and out of a region from high concentration to a region of low concentration. Now just see, this is a schematic diagram of how the exchange of gases occurs in a cell. So these are, I've drawn some cells. Just you can consider it as a situation in which the carbon dioxide and oxygen are diffusing in and out of the cell. So when the oxygenated blood, that is rich of oxygen, is brought near the cell with the help of the blood capillaries, the concentration of oxygen is more in the blood arteries outside than inside the cell. So as the things in diffusion move from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration, so oxygen will move inside the cell. Whereas inside the cell, because the glucose was oxidized and there was a production of carbon dioxide, so the concentration of carbon dioxide is more inside than outside the cell. So as a result, the carbon dioxide will diffuse out into the blood capillaries, which are carried by the veins to the heart for purification. So this is how diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs across a cell membrane.